All right, it's that time, and I've done it. I've actually watched Sydney to the Max. I've only watched 3 episodes. The first, the middle one, which is episode 11, and the last one of the season, episode 21. Sydney to the Max is the story of father and daughter, who a single father and his daughter, who live together in the house he grew up in with his mom, and who is, of course, Sydney's grandma. And basically just tells the story of your average 12-year-old girl who wants to have a little bit more independence and a little bit more responsibility as she enters 7th grade. And but the kind of twist to this show, which is just not the normal, hey, kids getting in trouble and then learning a lesson at the end, is that it also takes place in the 90s. We flash back often to the B story, which is Max growing up, also raised by, his mom, a single mom, just as he is a single dad. And the great thing is Carolyn Rhea, however you want to say it, comedian, actress. She's done a ton of stuff. You might recognize her from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She's done a ton of voices for Phineas and Ferb and other Disney projects. So if you're a Disney fan, you know her quite well. But she plays the eldest member of the family in both eras. She plays a younger blonde version of herself in the 90s, and of course the A stories, the main stories of each episode, which take place in modern day. She's the grandma. She's a little bit more uptight in the 90s when she's the mom, but she's just the opposite, just a wild child. She's gone back to college. She's retired. And just as Sydney is entering a new era of her life in 7th grade, grandma has just retired, and now she's off to do all sorts of crazy things. We hear the canned laughter whenever she says or does something wacky, like she just got back from paintball, or, yeah, she's somewhat of a cliche, but she's always a delight to see her. But yeah, the thing is, between the two eras where it jumps between is modern day in the 90s, and we see Max played by a younger, obviously a boy, or not the adult man. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but the man, the dad in this, doesn't he look like a young David Boreanaz? Well, maybe not that picture, but I'll throw one up here and see if you can tell the difference. He looks like a young David Boreanaz. Right? Yeah. Right there? Yeah. Hey, if he has never cosplayed or gone out for Halloween as Angel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he's really missing out on an opportunity. But anyway, back to the show. I found it funnier than I expected it to. Again, it's not made for me. It's made for kids, and it's got all the normal beats that you'd find in a kid's show. It's written by adults who think that adults saying slang terms that are outside their generation is funny. It's not really funny anymore. Okay, guys, I realize it's an easy laugh, and it makes the little kids probably chuckle, like when old people say fashizzle, or that's on fire, or whatever it is that's out of date today at that moment. Just me saying that right now, come on, you gotta, it was just uncomfortable listening to that, right? So anyway, if you're the kind of person, by the way, the reason why I'm kind of sort of critical on these kind of things, but I still like this one, is that it didn't go for the easy, the weak humor that we see in a lot of kids shows that have been in the past years, written for Disney and Nickelodeon and other even primetime stuff, where you've seen the situation 1,000 times, where the kid is always the smart one, the clever one, and the parents are just complete dunderheads. They're complete idiots, and they just teach their parents a lesson by whatever they do. and the joke is always on stupid dad or stupid mom. And the kids always have these withering, rude comments to make that just makes everybody seem dumber than they are. And that's supposed to make the kids watching the show identify with them, I guess. To me, I see that as weak writing and just really poor structure for a show that's aimed at kids. But this show doesn't have that. I can't say it doesn't completely have that. Sydney has plenty of lines at her dad's expense, but she delivers them beautifully. She's actually a quick wit. She's actually delivers them right, delivers them convincingly, that you would think that she was not just reading the script. Okay, there's a lot of bad kid actors out there, and the girl who plays Sydney is not one of them. She's adorable, and she's clever, and I think she's got a future ahead of her. When they flash back to the 90s, it's always it's really mostly focused on a lot of retro stuff, a lot of the clothing and the surroundings and the video games, and the kids. Her dad, Max, as a boy, is obsessed with skateboarding. So, yeah, obviously, I don't think we've heard anything with music so far because it's probably way too expensive for a show like this. But it's a fun contrast to see the two of them deal with the same issues, and it's a good kind of message that I think kids might actually get out of this, that their parents aren't so different from them, that they kind of went through the same things they did, maybe slightly differently. But yeah, it's basically about a lot of the episodes that I saw. The second one I watched, well, the first one I watched was her wanting to get her hair cut and a new style and color and everything else, as kids do, because she wants to seem interesting and unique at school. It's 7th grade, and it's kind of scary. So she kind of sneaks around. She asks Dad if she can get her hair styled a very extreme, colorful, wild way, and he says no. Well, never mind the fact that he wanted to get his hair bleached when he was the same age, and Mom said no, and he did it anyway, and he ended up looking like an orange, like bright. His head just turned bright orange, and it burned. So she kind of went behind his back as well. I'm not going to ruin all the episode, but honestly, if you didn't watch it with me, well, the odds are you're not going to watch it at all anyway. But she also went behind her dad, and her hair went all wacky, further than she expected. Yeah, so it's they each learn their lesson. They kind of come to an understanding. Every episode's going to be like that, where they have a conflict, they don't get along, they kind of mess with each other's heads a little bit for the comedic effect anyway, and then they all come back together again. The second episode involved her wanting Dad to start dating again, and he runs a bike shop. And by the way, we find out in that, again, not the second episode, but the 11th episode is what I watched. I wanted to see if they progress at all over time. And no, the episodes are pretty well self-contained, so it's not like you're dealing with a whole lot of continuity. But she gets him to start dating, and they both had the same problem, the girl, but they're afraid to tell each other because they're afraid that they'll hurt the other person's feelings because they think the other person really likes the woman. Neither of them do, and that adds to all sorts of shenanigans. I have to mention MVP to Sydney's best friend, Olive, who's just the average wacky neighbor girl. We've seen her at Full House. She's usually a bit bigger personality than the main actor, but this girl. She just like Sydney. They cast her well. She has a very goofy look and personality to her. Cute kid, but yeah, she's meant there to be the voice of unreason many times. So that's the job of the sidekick, basically. So she's amazing as well. In the last episode I watched, which is the season finale of season 1, so far only one season, I don't know if I said that earlier, is on Disney+. There are more seasons to come from what I saw on MDB. So the last episode involved cell phones being banned in school because they were too distracting, and the struggle of Sydney wanting to get her dad to help change that. And whether he does or does not in the end is something you have to watch for yourself. Episode 21. And, oh, by the way, it's kind of one of the kind of fun things about this, for me anyway, is that all the episodes are pretty much named after 90s songs. Like, they're plays on... no, sorry, not 90s songs, but 90s movies. They're plays on the names of 90s movies. So if you look at, let's see, Mo Grandma, Mo Problems. Okay. Dancin' La Vida Loca, that's not really a pun, that's actually the name of a song. How Sydney Got Her Phone Back. There you go. Can't Die This. So, yeah, there's a bunch of neat little things. I think there's even a Big Lebowski reference at some point. So, yeah, it makes it a fun little adventure, and I can't believe I've talked 11 minutes about this. Wow. Okay. Well, if you're going to watch it, hey, it's not the worst show you can actually watch with your kids, or suggest they check out. If they're like 12 and under or whatever, this will definitely fall into their wheelhouse. It's something they would actually enjoy. You might actually enjoy watching it with them. You might learn a little something about each other along the way, as one does. Let's check out tomorrow's selection. Come on. All right, let's bring it down here. That was 537. That was today's. Let's generate a new number, 620. We're going even lower down in the alphabet. What will that be? Let's see. 620. 620 is what we want here. Come on. Yes, again, Rock Band drum set. Collecting dust. 620. 620. Come on. Where are you? Oh! I haven't watched this in forever. But this time, I mean, I think so far this randomizer has given me a good variety of what Disney Plus has to offer. And by the way, I think I'm really screwing with whatever algorithm they're using. They got to be looking at this my profile and going, if they know that how old I am and my gender and where I live, and they see what I'm watching, and I don't have kids, I gotta wonder what this guy's watching, why this guy's watching some of these things. So what we got here, number 620, the classic 1994 Lion King. I haven't watched that in forever. So I think I'm gonna get a kick out of revisiting that. So please watch this along with me. If you need an excuse to watch The Lion King again out of everything else that is on Disney Plus right now, here's the reason. Come on. All right, I'm glad to help, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.